and welcome to Niabi Zoo's Pints for Preservation Volunteer Orientation. My name is Joel Vanderbush, and I'm the Curator of Conservation and Education here at Niabi Zoo, and we're going to be taking you through some of the instruction that you need in order to participate as a volunteer in Pints for Preservation here in 2023. First, let's just go over the purpose of Pints for Preservation. We are kicking off a fundraising campaign to bring grizzly bears to the zoo. So, of course, we're going to have some beer for bears. And our bears are very important as they are a keystone species. Through their foraging habits, bears disperse seeds in their droppings. They spread marine-derived nitrogen into the forest surrounding salmon streams, all of which help plants grow. Bears are also important links in food webs and help maintain prey populations through predation. We're very excited to start working on this campaign to bring bears to the zoo. Now, our mission here at Niabi Zoo is that we are working today to assure a better tomorrow for all living things, and we reinforce this with three key messages here at the zoo. The first being, conservation is our purpose. This is why zoos exist. We educate to inspire people to take conservation action, and everyone can be a conservation champion. Now, here at the zoo, we do have an adult volunteer program in which volunteers can participate as a zoo naturalist, communicating conservation messages to the public. They can participate in animal care, helping to assist our zookeepers and actually taking care of our animals. They can participate by making zoo enrichment to enhance the behavior of our animals. They can also prepare diets in our nutrition center, as we see in the picture to the far right. They can participate as a conservation education assistant, helping us out with our zoo camps, classes, and events. And they can take care of our plants in our horticulture areas. And of course, like you are doing now, participate in our special events. If you would like to apply to be a regular adult zoo volunteer, you can do so at our website by just going to niabizoo.com. And at the top of the page, you'll see the Join Our Team tab. And once you click on that, you'll see the Volunteer tab there. Now, for our special events volunteer program, you can help with our regular special events such as Boo at the Zoo, Endangered Species Day, Earth Day, Pollinator Day, World Giraffe Day, Snow Leopard Day, Pints for Preservation, Breakfast with Santa Claus, and so many more. So you can participate in more events than just Pints for Preservation. So if you're interested in that, you can also submit a volunteer application and express your interest in participating just as a special events volunteer. Now, there is a difference in the perks for our volunteer program. You can become an active status volunteer. In doing so, you would commit to doing at least 35 hours every 6 months as a minimum, which isn't very difficult to achieve. In doing so, you would get free zoo admission for yourself. You can get 20% off at our gift shops, the concession stands, and our education programs. You can attend volunteer-only events such as potlucks, our lunch talks. We have guest speakers, conservationists who come to town. You can listen to those. You can attend our banquet and exhibit previews. And you get member pricing at our events. Now, if you just wanted to be a special events volunteer, you must do at least 5 events per year to stay registered. And some volunteer-only events you can come to, like our potlucks and our talks. There are no additional perks other than fun and a job well done. But for Pints for Preservation, you do get a t-shirt and a souvenir glass. Now, let's talk about our event protocol for Pints for Preservation. We do have a dress code here for Pints for Preservation. We ask that you wear the Pints volunteer shirt or a polo shirt. You can see the Pints shirt here on the right with the drinking bear for our Beer for Bears event. Now, we do ask that you wear khaki or black pants to go with your shirt, and make sure that you wear closed-toed shoes, so no sandals. Now, if it is chilly out that evening, you can wear something long-sleeved underneath your shirt. But of course, if it is actually quite cold, you can certainly wear a jacket and maybe just leave it open so that people can see your volunteer shirt underneath. Now, as far as conduct here at the zoo, just remember that even if you're just volunteering for this event, you are representing the zoo. So we do ask that you have a guest service focus in that you show respect and courtesy for our guests. And we do ask that you are serving, not drinking. You may have one sample of what you're serving for reference to tell people maybe what it tastes like, but we want to make sure that you're doing your job as a volunteer and serving our guests. Now, cell phones. In the case of an emergency, we will have 2 police officers on grounds. And there's also myself, Joel, and Scarlett, our guest services manager. We will be on grounds. Here are our cell phone numbers, so you can take a picture of these and keep those on hand just in case you needed to contact us during the event. As volunteers, you would try to contact me first because I will be directly in charge of the volunteers along with my conservation educators. We also ask that you please not use your phones during the event, such as going on social media or live streaming or texting or calling while volunteering, unless, of course, it's an emergency. Parking, we do ask that you park in the main parking lot closest to the road, unless you need a handicap space, and then, of course, you can park up front. Signing in and out, you'll sign in and out in our administration building. So when you go into the building, if you are one of our regular zoo volunteers, you're going to use the Volunteer Information Center with your login number, and you'll sign in under event. But if you're just one of the special event volunteers for this event alone, then just check in at the registration table that's going to be inside our conservation classroom. Now, checking in, we want you to enter the administration building through the door that's just to the right of the zoo admission gates. You're going to go through the Discovery Center gallery to the conservation classroom, and you're going to check in with an educator or myself, the curator. We'll have a list there to check you in. You'll be able to pick up your free Pints volunteer t-shirt, and we do ask that you wear it so you can go to one of the restrooms if you like to change into that shirt. Now, our setup volunteers, they're going to report by 11 a.m. The pourers are going to report at 4:30. And our front end volunteers, which includes our greeters and our distribution volunteers, they're going to report at 5 o'clock. For setup volunteers, like I mentioned, you're going to report at 11 a.m., but you should be done by 3 p.m. And you guys are going to be putting tablecloths on all the tables. You'll put out the donation buckets, the vendor table signs, all of those things, as well as the paper towels, hand soap, hand sanitizers at each of the hand washing stations. Now, our volunteer greeters, you're going to report at 5 p.m. and you should be finished by 8:30 p.m. because that's when we're going to close the front gates. Now, you'll start greeting guests at 5:30 just outside the front gates. Even though the event doesn't start until 6, we expect guests will probably start arriving about a half an hour early. You'll be checking guest IDs. And of course, remember to be 21 and older, you need to be born earlier than 2002. And you'll give a wristband to each of those that you confirm their ID. Now, you'll be able to answer some of the guests' questions, but mostly you're going to steer the guests through the gates and direct them to the glass and passport station. And just remind them that they can also see the zoo history exhibit just inside the Discovery Center if they'd like to see that. Now, as we're bringing guests in, all 4 gates will be open, so we'll be able to channel people through there fairly quickly, and the admissions team will scan their tickets as the guests enter. Now, for our distributors, you'll be giving out the drinking glasses and the passport. So you'll report at 5 p.m. and you also will be done by 8:30 as the gates will close at that time. Now, we do ask for one volunteer to kind of stand in the middle of the path, and we're going to have an arrow sign pointing to the table where they will pick up their passports and glasses. But we would ask that a volunteer kind of stand there and direct people over toward that table so that they don't miss it, so that they can get the things that they need. Now, that table is going to be set up in front of the Treehouse Snack Shack, and that is where we will distribute to each guest one drinking glass, one passport, and one pen so they can write down their favorite brews or check off which stations they've gone to. Now, pourers, you are going to be reporting at 4:30 p.m. at the administration building. We will have you pick up a passport for yourself just so that you can tell guests where different stations are. An educator is going to be by the train depot to direct the pourers to their stations, so if you have any questions. Once you get to your station, you're going to be putting ice and cans and bottles in the bins that are on the table. Unless you have a station that has a tap, then you're pretty much all set up already. But there will be bags of ice laid out and the product will be sitting there, and it'll be up to you to make sure that you get that chilled before the guests get there. Now, you want to make sure that the table looks presentable for our guests by 5:30. And pay attention to the designated table setup and do not move the items around. The donation boxes, the paper towels, the hand washing stations, they're all going to be in a specific place, and we need to make sure that you leave them right where they are. Now, pourers, you will have to make sure that you report to the festival lawn at 5:45 p.m. for a mandatory health inspector meeting. And that is very important for everyone to attend. So please don't skip that meeting or think that maybe you're too busy or your station isn't set up. There will be plenty of time to get your station set up. Now, you want to make sure that you return to your station by 6 p.m. to prepare for opening, because that's when the gates open. Now, when you're glass filling, remember, this is a sample amount. We're not filling it to the brim every time. We want people to take a taste of the different types of drinks that are out there. So you, as the volunteer, you're going to be pouring without the can or bottle or spout touching the glass. We don't want to contaminate with people's germs if they've been drinking out of their glass and then touching it to something and then pouring it for someone else. Now, each glass is going to be filled no more than half full. So if you look at the glass here to the right with the yellow arrow, you can see basically it's about to where the word preservation is. So that's about half full. If people want multiple samples at a station, they can, but we do ask that they have a 3 sample limit per person at each station, because then they can go around and try other drinks. Now, for restocking, if a station does run out of product, let me or an educator know, and we will contact the maintenance team to restock your station. Now, if by chance there's no more product and we run out, we will close down the station, and that's fine. We do expect that that's going to happen by the end of the evening. T-shirt sales. The Niagara Zoo Foundation will be selling our Pints for Preservation t-shirts and our 60th anniversary t-shirts for $25 for cash or credit. Now, the table will be located at our conservation station near the train tunnel and by the train station to pick up the shirts on the way out of the event. Now, our different event policies, hand wash stations, they're going to be right there at the tables for the volunteers, and only the pourers are going to be able to use those right at each station. That is not for guests. It's not for rinsing anything. It's just to wash your hands off if you get product on you. Now, the rinse stations, these are set up to where guests can rinse their own glasses using the big green coolers, or at the actual stations, you may have some 5-gallon jugs with a pitcher, and then the pourer could rinse the guest's glass if they would like. Now, we do ask you to recycle, so do your part. If you've got cans and bottles there at your station, please make sure that those get recycled. There will be recycle bins there that the maintenance team will have put out. Now, myself and the educators will be checking in with the volunteers to see if you need anything. If you need a break, we'll also be handing out water and a snack if needed. Anything else that you might need, feel free to ask us as we stop by the stations and check in on you. Now, our maintenance team, they will be assigned to zones to check on trash, recycling, and restocking of products or ice. If myself or the educators are told that a station needs help with any of the above, then of course we will inform the maintenance team that the station is in need and get that to you. Now, tear down and closing. Once a station runs out of product for the night, after you've checked with us to make sure that there's no more, then the station will close down. Volunteers should take the station sign, the donation box, the bottle openers, washcloths, soap, hand sanitizer, etc., and see myself or the educators, then take those to the gift shop or the classroom. Now, maintenance will come around and pick up the tables, the tablecloths, and any of the big green jugs or collapsible water jugs. You don't have to worry about any of those things. And of course, you can pick up your free pint souvenir glass on the way out from the gift shop or the classroom. Now, these are all the stations. This is directly from the drink passport. So you can see that we have 19 drink stations. You can also see the big yellow arrow where it says check-in. That's at the Discovery Center. So as you're parking, as we mentioned previously, you'll be going just to the right of the zoo admission booths into the administration building so that you can check in through the Discovery Center and the conservation classroom. So as you see all the numbered drink stations, you will also see some lettered food truck stations. So we do have 5 food trucks that will be here this year, and you can see those are centered around the festival lawn. Our restroom locations, of course, in the Discovery Center entry, as soon as they come through the zoo gate, they can go into the Discovery Center to look at the zoo history exhibit, and there are restrooms right in there. Right across from the gift shop, there are the red restrooms that they can stop in as well. The Wolf's Paw concession stand toward the back of the zoo also has restrooms, and there will also be porta potties if needed. There will be 4 along the festival lawn fence and 4 along the giraffe fence. Now, our food stations, as I mentioned, they're available for purchase. Those are not free, so people can purchase food if they would like, and there will be those 5 trucks around the festival lawn. Now, our drink stations, these will be at these particular exhibits. So the first one will be at the Gibbon exhibit. This is the first one that everybody sees. So sometimes people will bypass the Gibbon station to go directly to White Rhino or to the Crossroads, depending on if they go left or right. So if you do go left, then of course people can go to the White Rhino exhibit and go to the drink station there and follow the path around to the koi pond and then come back up along domesticated animals to meet the Crossroads station at number 4. Now, there will be 4 stations along the festival lawn, and some of these may be some of the big beer wagons in which you're drawing from a tap, or it could be some of our brewers in which you'll be assisting them. Now, there's number 9 is at the giraffe deck, number 10 is at Colobus Monkey, and then, of course, we have our new Painted Dog exhibit, which you will have Painted Dogs 1 and Painted Dogs 2, because there are 2 observation decks overlooking the Painted Dog exhibit that are very well lit, and so we'll be utilizing those this year. Number 13 is over at the carousel, and then we have some that will be around the cat exhibit. So number 14 will be by the bobcat exhibit, number 15 by the African leopard, number 16 will be by the Wolf's Paw concession stand, number 17 will bring people back around to the cat exhibits by the snow leopards, number 18 by the Amur leopards, and number 19 is by the train tunnel. And so once again, here is a look at all of those stations. You'll be assigned to a station number, and then you'll be able to find this on this map when you pick that up when you come in. So as we're finishing up, Please take a moment to complete your orientation and liability paperwork. The paperwork is in the form of a fillable PDF, so you'll be able to type directly into that form. Then make sure you save that completed paperwork to your computer or your device. Then attach that PDF document to an email and send it to me on Joel Vanderbush. So that's at jvanderbush@niabizoo.com. We want to thank you for attending our brief orientation. And just as a reminder, we are working today to assure a better tomorrow for all living things. We appreciate you helping out for Pints for Preservation, where, of course, we're going to be giving out beer for bears. We will see you on Friday.